mixture word problems. The next type of word problem that we're going to deal with are word problems involving mixture. Let's just read an example. How many gallons of a 12% salt solution must be mixed with 6 gallons of a 20% salt solution to obtain a 15% salt solution? Now this problem is awfully wordy. And what we want to do is try to organize this. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a picture of what's going on. Now it doesn't matter if you're an artist or not. I'm going to draw maybe little glasses or beakers to represent 3 different containers. So we've got, here's my first one. I'm going to add what's ever in this one to another one. And I'm going to get, maybe I'll draw this one a little bigger since there will be more liquid in this one. So there's my picture. So I've got a certain amount of gallons of 12% salt solution. I'm going to add it with 6 gallons of 20% salt solution, and I'm going to obtain a 15% salt solution. Well, what we want to do, first of all, is try to define our variable. Well, since I'm going to add, let's see, 12% salt solution, I'm going to let x equal number of gallons of 12% salt solution. So this container has x gallons. And I'm going to put in here 12% to refer to that this has 12% salt in it. Well, I'm going to add x gallons of 12% to 6 gallons of 20%. And what I'm going to obtain then is a 15% salt solution. Now the question we want to ask ourselves right now is how many gallons are there going to be here? Well, if I have x gallons here, I'm going to add x gallons to 6 gallons, then I must have a total of x plus 6 gallons. So that's how I'm going to set up this problem. Let's read it again, and it should make a little more sense to us now. How many gallons of a 12% salt solution must be added to a 6-gallon container of 20% salt solution to obtain 15% salt solution? So there's the little picture that we're going to use. And now we have to come up with an equation. Okay. Well, these are actually quite easy from now, because all we have to do is multiply the percent of this solution times the gallons. So remember, when we multiply percents, we change the percent to a decimal. And 12% is 0.12 in a decimal. So 0.12 times x plus, this as a decimal is 0.20 times 6 is equal to 0.15 times x plus 6. And there's our equation. Now notice this is a linear equation. Again, the variables all have a power of 1. Now let's remember how to attack a linear equation involving decimals. Well, if you don't know how to do that yet, you may want to refer back to the lecture on linear equations with decimals. For those of you who do, I'll give you a review. We want to get rid of the decimals. And to do that, we multiply each piece of the problem, each term, by 100. And what that does, when we multiply everything by 100, we're going to move the decimal places 2 places to the right. So when I multiply this term by 100, I'm going to get 12x. When I multiply this one by 100, I get 20 times 6. Multiplying the last piece by 100, let me go ahead and put the 100 here, represent that I'm multiplying everything by 100. I get 15 times x plus 6. So the problem is becoming easier and easier for us. And now we'll just try to solve it. Let's see, let's go ahead and simplify. I've got 12x plus 120 equals, and I'll distribute, 15x x plus, let's see, what's that, 90? We want to combine like terms. How about if I move the x's over here? You know, I always try to keep my variables positive. I could have certainly moved the 15x to this side, but then my variable would have been negative. No big deal. It's just a preference I have. I like to try to keep my variables positive if I can. So on the left side, I have 120 equals 3x plus 90. Now we'd like to solve for x. So let's just move the 90 to the other side. So I have 30 equals 3x, divide by 3. So x equals 10. Now what did we solve? Let's go back to the problem. I wanted to know how many gallons of a 12% salt solution must be added. So our answer was 10. That's what we came up with. 10 gallons of 12% must be added to the 6 gallons of 20% to obtain the 15%. And now how many gallons would be over here? Well, of course, 16. Okay, let's try one more. This one's a little different. Let's read the problem. How many liters of pure acid must be added to 150 liters of a 30% solution of acid to obtain a 40% solution? Most of these problems are all set up the same. They just change the wording a little bit. Let's go ahead and draw our same picture. We'll label it. So we're taking one container, adding it with another, and we're going to have a bigger container. Now, let's go ahead and figure out what our variable is going to be. How many liters of pure acid? So that's what we want to find. So how about if I let x, you could let y, z, it doesn't matter what your variable is. I usually use x. So let's let x equal the amount, or will equal the liters of pure acid. Okay, so there's going to be my pure acid. How many liters of pure acid, so I'll write x liters, must be added to 150 liters of 30% acid to obtain 40% acid. And again, since I'm adding x to 150, the amount of liquid in this container is going to be x plus 150. Now notice, I have a missing piece right here. Now let's think about this. How many liters of pure acid must be added to a 30% solution of acid? Well, what percent is pure acid? Well, pure acid is 100% acid. So whenever we see pure, that means the whole thing is acid, or 100% of it is acid. Now, we can set up an equation similar to that first example. So we'll go, let's see, let's change this to a decimal. 100% times x, well, 100% is just 1x plus 0.3 times 150 equals 0.40 times x plus 150. And now we'll try to solve. Well, I want to move the decimal places over, so I'll multiply everything by 100. Multiplying this by 100 moves the decimal places over. Now let's distribute. We have 100x plus, let's see, that's 4,500 equals 40x. Let's see, 4 times 15, what's that, 60? I think that's all correct. Let's continue. Let's combine our like terms. Let's see, I want to solve for x. Why don't we move the 40x's to the other side? 60x plus 4,500 is equal to 6,000. We'll subtract 4,500 to get the x's by themselves. 60x equals 1,500. Divide by 60. X equals, let's see, 150 over 6. What's that? 6 goes into 1. Let's try that over here. 6 goes into 150. Let's see, 225. So x equals 25 liters. So what did we solve for? Let's go back to the problem. Remember, the problem asked us, how many liters of pure acid, that's what we were trying to find, must be added to 150 liters of 30% acid to get 40% acid. And we came up with 25 liters is the desired amount. I want to encourage you to draw this picture each time and clearly label and then write the equation and solve.